Welcome to Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. Our top stories in the news tonight: SHIWANG'ANDU Member of Parliament Stephen Kampyongo accuses the Anti-Corruption Commission of exaggerating the value of his properties. The UPND CHISANKANYA Ward Councillor in KAFUE entangled in land illegalities. Economic gains not responsive to the majority unemployed citizens charges ZCTU. In international news, floods in north-central Nigeria kill 7 and leaves thousands stranded. And in sports news, over 2,000 people, local and international, participate in the ABSA marathon.
You know, I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Prime plots filled with beautiful views are now available for sale in Palavana. They will have tarred roads, electricity, water, golf course, 24-hour security, and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayad. We have 40 by 25 meters going for 240,000 and our 50 by 42 going for 300,000. Both have flexible payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road.
For viewings, purchases, and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
Hello again. Another news in detail. A family of 11 in G Green's Lilai Chalala area and KAFUE district are living in fear after United Party for National Development UPND CHISANKANYA Ward Councillor Chris Sinkangila has allegedly been trying to grab their titled land in the company of UPND cadres. In interviews with Camnet News, the family members say they have been living in fear as the said group has been threatening to burn them alive in their home while sleeping at night, adding that they have since demarcated their land and put up beacons. Meanwhile, when contacted via phone, the named councillor abruptly cut the phone call upon hearing what Camden News was calling about, promising to call back, but did not do so by broadcast time. More in this report.
This is a family of 11 in CHISANKANYA Ward of Lilai area near G Grings under KAFUE district who say they are living in fear for their lives, alleging that some United Party for National Development UPND cadres have promised them harm should they resist that part of their 4.8 hectares of land which is on title be grabbed from them. A visit to the place shows beacons to demarcate the land, which the family alleges was put up by the said cadres in the company of CHISANKANYA Ward Councillor Chris Sinkangila, stating that they have been visiting their land, coming as a group in vehicles and intimidating them.
Bafuna poka makada zilandi no nankalapo kutoka 2010 up to now nikalipoona pokada this year pamena ona kada, so almost 2 months ago makada zibabwela pano mafiki dwamemba fiki damo sibafika bundo tavutika sinigona na bana niyo pakugona nikagona niyo patwazani ngenena so linka chedi linkezi so pili nfuta kumdisa
so bakambati bakuru ba UPND ndiye babatuma so manje ifestizo tizankala bwanjikayo mabeze yabwela motoka full hapa so babwati sekira bamene banatenga vintu ati benzo sibela benzo kila mabikono ko vintu atenga ni banchabe so bakambati kuzabwa kapokola bwa usiku na pela bo after daika mabikono kwa na bo pwanya usiku pewa nangena uyu banamupisha mnyumba na mwana tikochera mnyumba ngao chetu uyu na benze na bwana taya banamupisha tizakocha ndio uleta mlumu.
The incidents that have been reportedly happening at the land for 2 months now have drawn the attention of neighbors.
Boma ilipoi yalidesha kadarism no marata bwa fema neighbors aba pokera makadazi no kusabika ma pegi bale pegi ma bacon no manishi abantu bale kashanyi otabeshibe proto tabeshibe no bayingirafi bayingirafi so radda bona ifo natipero monso tale kashanyi.
The accused councillor CHISANKANYA was however not responsive to the media as he suddenly cut a phone call made to him promising to call back but did not fulfill his promise by broadcast time.
Councillor is the first person who came here and then later some UPND cadres came.
Where?
Just by Jigglings.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know. Okay, hold on.
We will continue to follow the story with the relevant authorities, which include KAFUE Town Council and other civic leaders. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, KAFUE District.
Meanwhile, some unknown people have commenced constructing houses on a road reserve in CHISANKANYA ward of KAFUE district behind Apex Medical University. Ward Development Committee Chairperson Jackson Banda tells Camnet News that the said structures will cause the Ministry of Local Government to suspend the construction of a road currently underway due to illegality. Mr. Banda has since warned the KAFUE City Council to revisit the site and order the demolition of the structures built on the road reserve to allow for the continuation of the construction of the road. Meanwhile, KAFUE Town Clerk Jonathan Mwanza, when contacted for a comment, tells Camnet News that about 10 meters has been left for the road and that the process was done in a transparent manner. More in this report.
Hardly a week passes without a report of illegal land allocation and encroachment, and what is more surprising is that the illegalities are backed with legal documents from the local authority as well as from the Ministry of Land. The situation is similar here in CHISANKANYA ward of KAFUE district behind Apex University, where some unknown people have started constructing houses on the land that was meant for the road reserve, according to a concerned resident of the area.
This plan was given to us as the approved plan, and we were told we were the last people before the road reserve, only to wake up today to witness what you've just seen today. People building and the whole fence has mushroomed with no house inside. So for me, I feel deprived by the local authority of KAFUE, and I feel we should get to the bottom of this to stop this illegality.
Meanwhile, the construction of this road by the Ministry of Local Government may be haunted due to the fact that the land where the road is supposed to protrude has been given as residential plots and only 10 meters has been left for the road, drainages and a pedestrian passage, a situation that has annoyed the Ward Development Committee Chairperson Jackson Banda.
It was well planned in the sense that there at the other side there may be a drainage system and even the pedestrian pathway, both from this side, from my left to the right, which is a modern way of a road network system. So the only saddening part right now is that this road will not continue because it has been encroached further as I am talking.
Mr. Banda has further explained that the area is that of a high residential and has wondered how people have been allocating themselves land backed by documents from KAFUE Town Council.
There is no reason why a trained person, a technocrat in the office of the council can have such a very wrong idea of doing things.
Has since called on the KAFUE Town Council to come on the ground and stop the illegality, as well as called on the Ministry of Local Government, which is currently working on the road, to urgently address the issue, adding that such kind of illegalities are what causes problems in the future.
It should be the council secretary because he's the chief administrator of the council. If he can tolerate this nonsense, then he is part and parcel of this nonsense. So I believe that all councillors within KAFUE District Council, let's respect the jurisdiction of the areas.
Meanwhile, KAFUE Town Clerk Jonathan Mwanza, when contacted for a comment, tells Camnet News that about 10 meters has been left for the road and that the process was done in a transparent manner. We will continue to follow how the matter will unfold. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
SHIWANG'ANDU Member of Parliament Stephen KAMPYONGO has alleged that the 29 million kwacha worth of properties he is alleged to have corruptly acquired by the Anti-Corruption Commission have been over-evaluated. Mr. KAMPYONGO, who spoke through his lawyer Leonel Lemba of Mulungushi Chambers, says Mr. KAMPYONGO and his wife both have government accounts which have in the past been used to credit their salaries and allowances, stating that it is shocking how the accounts have also become proceeds of crime. He says his defense team is ready to prove before the courts that the properties are not proceeds of crime. The Anti-Corruption Commission last Thursday arrested former Minister of Home Affairs Stephen KAMPYONGO and his wife Wanzia Chirwa for possession of property worth over 29 million kwacha suspected of being proceeds of crime. More in this report.
The Anti-Corruption Commission Thursday 6th October 2022 arrested former Minister of Home Affairs Stephen KAMPYONGO and his wife Wanzia Chirwa for being in possession of properties worth over 29 million kwacha suspected of being proceeds of crime. Details in the charges against Mr. KAMPYONGO were that between 1st January 2012 and 30th September 2021, he did possess the following properties: a property located off Twin Palm Road in Lusaka valued at 1,600,000 kwacha, another property located off Lilai Road, Livala South, valued at 860,000 kwacha, two properties both located in Eureka Park comprising of incomplete double-store house valued at 11,100,000 kwacha, and another property at Chifwema area valued at 1,600,000 kwacha. Facts in the second count involving Mrs. KAMPYONGO are that between 1st January 2012 and 30th September 2021, she did possess a property located in Eureka Park off KAFUE Road valued at 11,100,000 kwacha, another property located in Minwood in Deke Lusaka valued at 2,100,000 kwacha, two properties located in Foxdale Lusaka valued at 5,200,000 kwacha, and another property valued at 1,200,000 kwacha located in Ibex Hill, Lusaka. Other properties included that in Mikango of Lusaka valued at 2,110,000 kwacha. The two were also accused of being in possession of about 1.3 million kwacha and 1,200,000 kwacha in two separate bank accounts held by Indo-Zambia Bank. But lawyer of the two accused, Leon Lemba of Mulungushi Chamber, has told journalists that the said properties have been over-evaluated by the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Well, their position is that it may not actually be 29 million, but it may be 11 million kwacha less if we were to go by the values that they gave to the public. Now, worth noting is that these values are values that have been generated by surveyors appointed by the state. My clients did not have a hand in the selection of valuers.
Council Lemba has also wondered how two government officials who get paid their salaries and allowances can fail to have money in their bank account. He has since charged that his clients are not afraid of going to court and that they will prove their innocence.
Some savings in two bank accounts amounting to 1.4 million kwacha and 1.3 million kwacha. Now, with respect to the savings, these are government income. There's government generated income there because the accused persons are employed by the government of the Republic of Zambia. So those accounts contain salaries, allowances, and other income that they have earned. So that is what they have termed as property suspected to be proceeds of crime in the two accounts.
Meanwhile, SEC in a statement made available to the media Saturday says the Commission is on an unstoppable and relentless crusade to vigorously and ruthlessly fight past and present corruption, as opposed to reports that it has focused its fight on the past corruption and not pursuing the current acts of corruption. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati says consumer protection in the information communication technology sector is fundamental for digital transformation. Speaking when he launched the SIM card enhancement and code in Lusaka Saturday, Mr. Mutati notes that this will drive consumer confidence in the digital economy. The minister says that government is concerned with the increase in criminal activities such as digital financial fraud, scams, cyberbullying, cyber extortion, pornography, among others, which have the potential to undermine public confidence in these platforms. He says this can only be attainable if consumers are happy through effective and efficient service delivery. More in this report.
The advancement of technology has seen a rise in online scams targeted at different people through the use of electronic gadgets. Mobile money transactions have been used on all three mobile network service providers in Zambia to perpetuate fraudulent activities. Notifications through text messages notifying one of fake money transfer, job links which require one to send money to a specific number, promotions that ask one to enter their mobile money personal identification number are some of the scams that have characterized the telecommunications industry, and suspecting members of the public have been swindled in this process. The Zambia Information and Communications Technology ZCTU, responsible for monitoring and protecting the consumer, have been blamed for not actively pursuing this matter, with only a few individuals on record being arrested. Saturday, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati launched a short code and SIM card enhancement program organized by ZCTU in Lusaka's Matero Township. The code, which is *707#, with prompts guiding the steps, will help the consumers report any suspicious activity of information sent to them.
Protection is the bedrock of building trust in digital technologies. What is important for the consumer is that apart from us providing availability, access, and affordable services, is that the services are secure. And what is working against this whole army of scammers and fraudsters. So what we're doing today is to wage a war, a big war, by introducing and launching a shortcut. And the purpose of the shortcut is to create better confidence and trust in the consumer.
Noticed that there's been a high incidence in fraud scams where people target innocent people wanting to defraud them or send them fake messages, fake marketing messages. So we thought, let's come up with a convenient way for people to report. Granted, there are toll-free lines, but sometimes we may not be patient enough.
In Mobile Telecommunications Network, MTN Chief Executive Officer says the code has come at a better time when mobile money transactions have become one of the most important ways of handling money, making it easy target for criminal activities.
Millions of transactions per day in a safe way that go well, so there's almost never an issue. But where's money, there are also fraudsters and scammers. They will always be there, and this will help us. This shortcode number will alert us on new ways they will find to commit fraud, and that is what we will fight together with ZCTU and the MNOs and the other authorities.
The message as an association is we are supportive in the collaborative manner with the launch of this shortcode to eliminate and reduce scammers by way of activating them. One of the major problems has been that people didn't know where to report, whether to police or to ZCTU. With this collaboration, we have cured that malaise.
After the launch, Mr. Mutati also took time to educate the traders at Material Market on how to use the code.
iwe upoke namba kuri ule wachituma tina wina akanono watuma namba that star 707 hash ule ukutumina ati na wina kanono ine namba watuma kuri iyo ninchinomba bazikta naba nabo bonse bala ishiwe kya kumista protect.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, has charged that proclamations of Zambia making various economic gains are of no value to ordinary citizens, not until they will be able to benefit from these gains through mass employment gains and economic liberation. Speaking during a 2023 budget speech analysis held by the Zambia Federation of Employers ZFE for the labor sector Saturday, ZCTU trustee Tisa Chiponda says economic revival should benefit Zambia's unemployed population to create opportunities for all those in search of sources of income. Meanwhile, speaking at the same meeting, ZFE President Myra Ngoma says the lifting of COVID-19 guidelines has massively helped the tourism sector as the pandemic led to many companies closing down, resulting in job losses. More in this report.
Problems affecting ordinary citizens in Zambia include high poverty levels and unemployment, issues they expect to be solved by the government of the day. It is for this reason that the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions ZCTU says positive changes in the economy should be able to benefit ordinary citizens, especially through the creation of employment. Union trustee Tisa Chiponda was speaking during a stakeholders meeting Saturday morning put together by the Zambia Federation of Employers ZFE with an aim of dissecting the 2023 national budget speech to see what is in store for the labor sector. She asked that there is need to work around increasing tax relief for citizens to enhance disposable income.
We would like to see that the many youths currently unemployed are quickly absorbed into the economic activities that earn them incomes and sustain their livelihood.
Meanwhile, also speaking during the stakeholders meeting, ZFE President Myra Ngoma says the lifting of COVID-19 measures will lead to many jobs in the tourism sector being saved.
It's only logical that the sector receives the incentives as announced by the minister so that the sector can be restored to its viability and contribute to employment creation in the country. I'm sure we are all aware that our friends in the tourism sector, most of them, they lost their jobs, others literally closed down. So it is our hope that with this budget, they will be resuscitated.
Adding his voice, economist CHIWANG'ANDU has urged the private sector to support government, stating that government alone cannot actualize its aspirations.
I'm simply anticipating that the last rating we had, I don't know whether it was Moody who rated us with the CCC, treble C, almost junk rating we almost got as a country. That was very bad for the private sector. It was not healthy for accessing finance. It was impeding growth. And my anticipation is that the next rating for Zambia shall be BBB or even BBB+. It definitely will be very, very positive because we have managed most of these risks, which is very good news for the private sector.
Other stakeholders who are present include those from the banking sector and the Ministry of Finance. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Labour Commissioner at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Givens Muntengwa, has charged that the ministry is not toothless in ensuring that employers adhere to labour regulations at their work premises, as is the perception from most people. In an interview, Mr. Muntengwa says the ministry is limited in its operations and cannot single-handedly handle all complaints from workplaces as these fall under various organizations. He notes that issues of compensation, as an example, fall under the Workers' Compensation Fund and not the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. The Labour Commissioner, however, notes that there is need for the ministry to increase its worker sensitization, stating that this will make it easier for them to know where to take various types of complaints.
first step that the ministry is taking is to sensitize the employers and employees. Worker education is paramount because, for example, if someone is injured at a place of work, the first point of call, according to workers, is Ministry of Labour. But to the contrary, the first point of call should be to ensure that the necessary documents are submitted at Workers' Compensation Control Board, because this is the institution that is supposed to compensate the worker. And in compensating the worker, employers are required to register with Workers' Compensation Control Board. And if they don't, then workers' compensation is the one now which must be able to mete out the necessary sanctions so that employer who might have failed to comply with that legislation. It's not Ministry of Labour per se, because Ministry of Labour, as you know, especially Labour Department, we are primarily there to ensure that there is industrial harmony between the employer and the employee.
Patriotic Front Mambilima Member of Parliament Jean Chisenga says development projects that have been lined up in her area under the 2022 25.7 million Kwacha Constituency Development Fund have presented an opportunity for rural development. In an interview, Ms. Chisenga notes that while she and members of the Ward Development Committee are still sitting down to discuss priority projects, pointers indicate that major problems affecting the people of Mambilima, such as erratic water problems, will now be phased out. She notes that rural areas too should not only be known for social and economic problems, but also for their development, hoping that this will soon be the case when all projects are rolled out.
Basically, my constituency has the major challenge, I would say, is water development. And that's one of the issues that I'm looking at first of all. So with the increase of the CDF, I think it's going to work a bit more effective for us, and we've started getting water supplies to a certain level, although the CDF is not flowing in as frequently as it's supposed to be. We recently just got another 6 million allocation, and where we hope things will get better. Away from water, sanitation, my other area of interest is the road network. You know, if you don't have a proper road network, then those developments cannot really reach out to the entire constituency.
This is Camnet Television and not just another channel. We'll take our first break. We'll be back with more news after this break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
We'll continue with the news. A 26-year-old male has been arrested in Ndola on the Copperbelt province for masquerading as a medical doctor and practicing without being registered with the Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ. HPCZ Public Relations Officer Mwaka Namfukwe says details of the matter are that the purported medical doctor was among the over 11,000 health workers recruited by the Ministry of Health in August 2022 and posted to a named public health facility in Ndola, where he has been working from the 12th of September. Ms. Namfukwe says this came to light during the recent HPCZ compliance monitoring exercise of internship sites, as it was discovered that the aforementioned was not registered with HPCZ, even though he was in possession of a purported HPCZ 2022 practicing license, which after verification was found to bear a certificate number belonging to another practitioner.
Our inspectors were assessing this facility. This health practitioner produced a HPCZ 2022 practicing license. And after we checked our system to verify, we discovered that he was not in our registers. And when we checked the certificate number, which was on the license that he produced, we found that that number belonged to another health practitioner who is in our registers. He claims he was trained outside Zambia and was awarded a degree in Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery in the year 2020. Now, what happens with foreign trained health practitioners is that they need to undergo an assessment exam at an institution recognized by HPCZ. They also need to submit their qualifications to the Zambia Qualifications Authority, ZCTU, for verification. After all that procedure is done, they come back to HPCZ to apply for registration. But this health practitioner did not do all that.
Government has flagged off works on the €156 million Zambia Water and Sanitation Project on the Copperbelt, which is aimed at benefiting about 500 people. Speaking when he handed over the €9.9 million Zambia Water and Sanitation Project in Chililawombwe District, Water and Sanitation Minister Mike Mposha says the project, which targets Chingola, Chililawombwe and Mufulira, will be done in a phased approach and is one of the many interventions that will address the water challenges. The minister says it is unacceptable that some people lack access to the commodity when Chililawombwe district has fresh underground water. Meanwhile, Chililawombwe Member of Parliament Paul Kaboswe has called on the contractor to prioritize the awarding of jobs to the local community so as to empower them.
Project to cover the 3 districts will cost us €156 million. This is not a small amount of money. Chililawombwe alone will have €9.9 million. This is a lot of money. And therefore, once we spend this money and begin to see the network which is just being installed, being vandalized, and you, the residents, are watching, then you are not being good citizens. Because this money is your money. These are loans that the government is procuring. Even the grants we are receiving are coming from other taxpayers elsewhere.
here, Minister, will only allow them to bring experts who can't be found here. So we are not just a talking government.
The Chipata City Council is working towards acquiring land for putting up a barrier site as well as a dump site. The local authority has for some years now been offering barrier services to members of the public and operating a dump site on privately owned land. Council Public Relations Manager Thelma Mbewe gives details of the current situation in Chipata District. More in this report.
The Chipata City Council has for some years now been offering barrier services to the members of the public and operating a dumping site on privately owned land. According to Council Public Relations Manager Thelma Mbewe, the local authority has up to now not yet secured land for the dumping site and burial ground.
Chipata City Council currently has plans to acquire or purchase land for development of the city. And the council intends to designate or segment part of this land once purchased for a dump site and a burial site. So once that is finalized, the public obviously will be kept up to date. The local authority is aware of the concerns and the need for a burial site and a new dump site location. And the council is actively working on establishing a burial site and a dump site.
A spot check at St. Anne's Cemetery revealed that the burial space on the land given out to the local authority by the Catholic Church in Chipata to conduct burial services is almost filled up.
Malo yaliko, even 10 years you can go. Uno nikufuna beka bantu wa mama funa kuna kusaidia. Tempako kutiwa chitumile ko bulldozer or grade tipangile ko mse. Wa Catholic malo wanapeleka. But huku tikali kuyenda kumwama. At the moment hapa using kwa mimi kuja chikarukumba but wantu wamavutipa unyamula makofins kwenda kumwama.
This is the current dumping site. Here, scavenging is the order of the day.
Votaira kulodi vangambo gwiriwa kwa menoko ngatu wataira kulodi fanika mgwire tabe akalipile zambiri kaili ono ngafuti kumbali kwa lodi maine vapasa kotaira mkato mwaona mwekuliro vanakonza mushemushe koso nanga chifukwa nchane vataire kulodi so ni nkhanto ta muntu so akavagwira tabe fanika sero kutaphunzireko vaviri vatatu se muno tina mawana tambirika ndiye mwamene tijera so ngati mwativalirako ndishima wana vaso no wino
kwene chameshima tivutisako nikwamene tingenesera mamotoka ngati azula dump side vamando taira ku road so tingapembeko kanso vatufakira kuwaya ni chivindu vingankhaleko mushe mwane tivutikirana mwaminomo mkati tina mawana ndiye mwane tidyesera always chabefe kulibe ntchito amene tingachita mwende kuboma tulibe pepa skulu na series.
Sylvester Shimba reporting for the news in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
We'll take a break and we'll have more in news in international and sports news. Stay tuned.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Prime plots filled with beautiful views are now available for sale in Palabana. They will have tarred roads, electricity, water, golf course, 24-hour security, and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayard. We have 40 by 25 meters going for 240,000 and our 50 by 42 going for 300,000. Both have flexible payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road. For viewings, purchases, and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
And now in international news, thousands of travelers remained stranded Friday in Nigeria's north-central Kogi state after major connecting roads to other parts of the nation were submerged amid the country's worst flooding in a decade. The floods are blamed mainly on the release of excess water from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon and Unu. In other news, volunteers mobilized in Ouagadougou to gather donations to help people in areas under militant jihadist control, like Djibo, which is now facing famine. Last week, an aid convoy to Djibo was attacked by terrorists, leaving dozens dead and missing. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Thousands of travelers remained stranded Friday in Nigeria's Kogi state after major roads connecting the north-central state to other parts of the nation were submerged amid the country's worst flooding in a decade. The Kogi Commissioner for Information said the floods have killed 7 people and destroyed homes. 5 days complete now, all the transport we carry. We don't feel safe now, this truck driver says. Hunger is affecting us. Nobody is happy. Everybody is crying inside their hearts. But we thank the Almighty. We are alive. 1 or 2 days ago, one of the men died because of hunger. All this is because of the conditions we find ourselves in. We need help. We need assistance. I pray to God Almighty. Authorities have so far struggled to evacuate residents. People resort to canoes to move around. Nigeria's 2 biggest rivers, Niger and Benue, meet in this state. The floods are blamed mainly on the release of excess water from Lagdo Dam in neighboring Cameroon and unusual rainfall. In front of the Ouagadougou Municipal Stadium, food donors come one after the other. They prepare supplies for their compatriots trapped in localities controlled by jihadists. This sign calls for donations for the thousands of residents from the northern city of Djibo who are now facing famine. For volunteers, supporting inhabitants in Djibo is a humanitarian gesture and a citizen's duty. It is a patriotic gesture because it is also a way for all Burkinabe to contribute as little as it may be for the fight against terrorism. According to the ECOWAS mediator to Burkina, the authorities control only 60% of the territory. Thousands fleeing terrorists therefore flocked to Ouagadougou and its suburbs. These displaced people found refuge in the Burkinabe capital. They gathered to chat and discuss. What can never leave their minds is also the story of their ordeal. It is the terrorists who asked us to leave our village. Soldiers who come to defend the people cannot kill them all. They, the jihadists, have come to wage war, and there will be no survivors. So we left. Leaving often means saving one's life, but starting a life of exile, where the harsh makeshift conditions and often no assistance from the government await. New junta led by Captain Ibrahim Traore seized power in Burkina Faso on September 30. In the second such power grab since January, blamed on failures to quell jihadist attacks.
Urging EU leaders to stand firm against Moscow, but European unity is once again under threat. How to tackle sky-high gas prices has been dividing the bloc. Europeans long dependent on cheap Russian gas are struggling to pay their bills. One way of bringing the price down would be for EU members not to compete with each other when buying gas on the open market.
One thing is very clear, there's a broad support that next spring, at the end of the winter, when our storages will be depleted, it is of paramount importance that we have a joint procurement of gas so that we avoid to outbid each other, but that we have a collective bargaining power and that we put that in place.
But countries like Poland, Greece and Italy say this is not enough to tackle the crisis, and a cap on gas prices must be put in place. A call for unity here in Prague at the start of what will likely be an expensive winter for Europe. The energy crisis has been driving a wedge between EU members, and with growing resentment about unaffordable prices, EU leaders are under pressure to find a solution fast. A couple of hours' drive out of the Czech capital, Barbora Berdichova is trying to keep warm. Now temperatures are dropping. The high gas prices have made alternative sources of energy like logs and wood pellets hard to come by.
It's not easy. Prices are up 350% from last year. Electricity and the pellets we're using for heating are up by about 130 to 150% and keep going up. We've completely stopped investing in the business because we can't afford it. If we don't have many guests this winter, we might have to move out and sell up.
EU leaders hope that in the next few weeks they can agree on a common approach, which might see a price cap being put in place. But that would mean that differences between richer and less well-off countries would have to be confronted and resolved.
It's now time for sports news. Camnet Stars has won by 3-0 against Future Stars in the Football Association of Zambia Division 4 Week 4 fixture. The match was played at Chainda Grounds in Lusaka's Mandevu constituency Saturday afternoon. Camnet Stars, known as the local national team, scored 6 goals but 3 were overruled, making it 3 goals at the end of the game. Meanwhile, Camnet Stars Division 2 will play tomorrow Sunday at Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds at 15 hours against ZISD. Over 2,000 participants from within and outside Zambia took part in the ABSA marathon in Lusaka today. Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts Elvis Nkandu expressed gratitude that the private sector is considering sport as a business opportunity for investment. Nkandu said the private sector has also enhanced the vision to put Zambia back in the Sporting Champions League. He noted that such initiatives promote workers' participation in sport that enhances their health and physical well-being that maximizes productivity. Meanwhile, ABSA board chairperson Austin Mwape said the bank is vested in sponsoring sporting activities that promote wellness and fitness. Mwape said the bank has increased investment in the sporting activities from 800,000 kwacha last year to 2 million kwacha this year. Zambia Amateur Athletics President Elias Mpondela said the marathon was organized under international standards, adding that all participants who would like to participate in international marathons can do so with reference to this marathon. Mpondela also noted that all finances that are contributed towards such marathons are channeled to supporting the athletes locally and internationally. To end Camnet Television News, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. SHIWANG'ANDU Member of Parliament Stephen Kampyongo accuses the Anti-Corruption Commission of exaggerating the value of his properties. UPND CHISANKANYA Ward Councillor in KAFUE entangled in land illegalities. Economic gains not responsive to the majority unemployed citizens charges the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions ZCTU. In international news, floods in north-central Nigeria kill 7 and leaves thousands stranded. In sports news, over 2,000 people, local and international, participate in the ABSA marathon. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from Psalms 66, verse 4 to 5. All the earth bows down to you. They sing praise to you. They sing the praises of your name. Come and see what God has done, his awesome deeds for mankind. Thank you once again for watching the news. I'm Jeffrey Siambo. Have a good night.